Let me welcome you as a prepaid legal associate. What I'd like to do is share with you some important information on recruiting in this business. And one of the most important areas, I believe, in starting off in the business is really how do you approach people. And sometimes people complicate this area, but I think it's relatively simple. In fact, a number of years ago, after a lot of trial and error, I came up with a little three-step program that I'd like to share with each and every one of you right now. Sometimes when you call people up, you get on the phone with them and you want to tell them too much about our business. And as a result of it, you find yourself maybe a half an hour or 45 minutes later, and you really start thinking about, well, you know, I've shared a lot of information, but really they haven't seen this. So a long time ago, I decided that I was going to use a couple key things that were going to help me build a business. And one of the key things is the word show. You know, when you think about your life, you really didn't buy your house by not taking a look at it. You didn't buy a car by not looking at it. And when it comes to a business opportunity, there are some things in the world of prepaid legal that you need to sit down with a brand new prospect and share with them. Now, the second thing is what time frame do you need to get people's attention with? And a lot of times I would ask for an hour, 45 minutes, and I found out that people just didn't have the patience for that much time, so I came up with 15 minutes. Why 15 minutes? Because it was very simple. Inside of 15 minutes, I could open up a placemat brochure and walk everybody through what our coverage was. So again, 15 minutes was a key number as far as minutes were concerned. The third thing was you may or may not be interested. Why is that? Because simply the fact is it put people in a comfort zone. They felt very relaxed, and so did I. You know, so very simply, I just want to walk you through this, that if you're talking to a brand new person, a brand new prospect in this business, all you want to do is simply say, look, there's something important I want to show you. I'd like to stop by for about 15 minutes, and by the way, you may or may not be interested. Now, even if you get these out of order, it's not going to make a big difference, because again, if you say the same thing again, just going, hey, I'd like to stop by for about 15 minutes, something important I want to show you, and by the way, you may or may not be interested. And last but not least, you may or may not be interested, like to stop by for about 15 minutes, something important I want to show you. Again, no matter how you say these, they're going to wind up basically doing the same approach. And I find this to be a very simple way of operating your business. Along with that, I want to talk about three other things that are very important from an approach standpoint. These three steps I have found, again, along with what I've just shared with you, critical and very important also. One is making a contact, two is building a friendship, and three is basically sharing your profession with people. So when I get on a plane, one of the first things I do is just simply introduce myself. Hi, my name is Dave Savula, and they introduce themselves back to me. And then I start, by the way, where are you from? And they'll give me a little location or the state that they reside in, the city that they reside in. And I'll start building a little bit of rapport with this individual, talking a little bit about their family, talking about their children, maybe some of their hobbies and things that they enjoy doing. And, of course, they come back and do the same thing with me. So we're building a little bit of friendship from the standpoint of the number two thing. The third thing I always say is, by the way, what do you do for a living? And, of course, they're going to share whatever industry that they may be in. And I'm going to compliment that. And they're probably going to ask me the same thing. By the way, Dave, what do you do? In fact, if they don't ask me, I really come back and say, probably you're thinking right now, what do I do for a living? And when they say, well, what do you do, Dave? And I said, look, prepaid legal services. And I don't say any more than that. And the reason for that is because I don't want to complicate it, and they've never heard of our business. I've been around the industry now for about 14 years in the world of prepaid legal. And I'm going to tell you, in all my travels across the United States and Canada, I've yet to sit with anybody that's ever owned a membership in our business or anybody that's even been an associate yet. Nobody knows who we are. So again, when you say prepaid legal services, the first thing they come back and say, well, Dave, how does that work? What is that? And my simple example is I said, look, we do for lawyers what medical insurance has done for doctors. And then, again, I just walk them through by basically having a placemat brochure in my pocket. I can just sit down and they say, well, how does this work? And I said, look, here's as simple as it is. Let me just hand you this and you can read it back to me. And in many cases, I let them read the titles to me because, again, it's a learning process and they start to understand what our service and our product's all about. So in this approach, these two different types of approach, keep in mind, show, 15 minutes, you may or may not be interested, a very simple way of establishing that appointment with an individual. Making a contact, building a friendship, and then talking about your business is something I do every single day. And if you get in the right habits of doing this, you're going to find that your business is going to grow much faster. You know, habits are going to create the success pattern that you need to develop in this business.